Hey, what's up, Master Trainers? This is your host, Charlie Jonas here, straight out of Pacific Valley, and today I'm gonna be explaining more things. Alright, here we go. Let's go, because today's video, finally I'm gonna explain to you everything you need to learn in order to be able to play any mod here within the Tabletop Simulator, alright? But of course, before you get started, make sure to go ahead and leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and also share this video with everybody else you know that would like to play anything here within the Tabletop Simulator. Also, make sure to go ahead and follow me on all my social media. That's the easiest way for you to stay tuned about any new content here regarding this project. Because as you know now, pretty soon, in September, we're gonna have the releasing of the first half of the DLCs, yeah? And we were already presented the new Paradox Pokemon along with new other evolutions, one for Applin and one for Duraludon. So I'm gonna be updating this mod here with those chips pretty soon, alright? So following me there is definitely the easiest way to stay tuned about those updates. Also, like always, I'm gonna be leaving up there in the cards a video where I introduce to you this project on its version 5.0. just in case you know nothing about what you're seeing right now, alright? So make sure to go ahead and watch that video. Also gonna be leaving up there in the cards a playlist where I explain rule by rule in video, so that's the easiest way for you to learn how to play this whole game series, yeah? It's a very important playlist for you to watch. And also gonna be leaving here up there in the cards another playlist regarding the explaining the things, yeah? With more things I have explained regarding this project along the time, alright? And in case you don't know, I just released a new exclusive mod called Pokemon Stadium with a 5 episodes mini series. So in case you didn't watch it yet, I'm gonna be leaving up there in the cards as well, alright? And in case you don't know how to play this traditional mod here, which we are seeing right now, make sure to go ahead and check it out this other playlist regarding the gameplay, so you can check it out the whole Kanto adventure and also the Pt.1, which we have started already and have played 10 episodes so far, alright? Okay, very well. So now let's go and let's learn how to use your keyboard and your mouse in order to be able to play the Tabletop Simulator, alright? So I'm gonna be dividing this series in 2 episodes, in 2 parts, where here in the first part I'm gonna be telling you all the commands and all the keys from your keyboard you're gonna be able to use, and then on the second part we're gonna be regarding the mouse and things you can do to use your mouse in order to play here within the Tabletop Simulator, right? So let's go, let's get started. Alright, so first of all, as any other game you play on your computer, you're gonna be able to use the keys A, W, D, and S in order to move your camera around. Yeah, this way, as you can tell, you're gonna be hovering the camera around, just like that, alright? However, just to make it more intuitive, we're gonna talk about one mouse feature they're gonna be using along with all the other ones I'm gonna be teaching in this video, alright? Which is moving your mouse scroll wheel forward and backwards in order to apply or remove zoom, yeah? As you can see right now, I can zoom in by rolling the scroll button forward and zoom out by rolling backwards, alright? So that's gonna be very helpful if you use it along the other keys I just mentioned, alright? Then another very useful thing you could use are the arrow keys. Yeah, so you could go left, right, up, down, or even combine them, going left and up, down and right, yeah, to go diagonally. See? You can do whatever you want in order to change the angle of the camera, alright? So you're gonna be using the arrow keys. And then if you realize your camera angle could end up very messed up, alright? However, you don't have to worry too much about it, because all you have to do in order to restore it to the full mode is to press space key. So by pressing space key, I'm gonna go back from where the camera angle started when I just logged into this mod, alright? Nice. So now let's talk about the tab key. So if you hit the tab key, you're gonna be deploying an arrow, yeah, on the table anywhere. So you're gonna be using the tab in order to deploy the arrows. Not everywhere you're gonna be able to do that. However, most of the time you're gonna be able to do. All right. So by just pressing tab, you're gonna deploy arrows in order to show or indicate something to the other players. And if you keep the tab key pressed and just move your pointer around, then you're gonna enable the scale, yeah, which is gonna form a line and give you the measure of the table, right? However, the measure itself, I don't think is that useful, but the line that it forms is definitely a good thing, mostly when you have to go ahead and try to read the table. All right, so by doing that, it's gonna be easier for you to read tables, just like I'm doing right now. So I definitely use this feature every time I play here this game. All right, however, be careful, okay, because if you press the tab key and accidentally not just move your pointer around but end up left clicking with it, then you're gonna change your pointer to the line tool. All right, and then to go back to the grab tool, all you have to do is to go ahead and click there, or simply hitting the F1 key. Then you're gonna go back to the grab tool. All right, now another feature that's very nice to be used is to press the B key. All right, so the B stands for blindfold. This way you cannot see what's going on within the game. And then if you press it once again, you're gonna remove the blindfold. Yeah, it's like a curtain that is put down, blocking your view. Yeah, this way you cannot see what's going on. And then when someone enables the blindfold, you're gonna be able to see an eye icon here in order to indicate that that person is blindfolded at that time. All right. All right. So now let's go ahead and talk about the F key. So by simply keeping your pointer on top of something and hitting the F key, you're gonna be able to flip it. All right. You don't have to pick it up. Just simply keep it on top of it, and then you're gonna be able to flip something if that thing is able to be flipped. And then if you use the Q key or the E key, you're gonna be able to rotate something, yeah, in different directions, right? So E is gonna rotate it clockwise, while Q is gonna rotate it counterclockwise. And then if you try to do that, you're gonna realize that perhaps on yours is not gonna be turning 9 degrees just like mine. Yeah, it's gonna go much slower, 15 degrees per time. In order to change that, all you have to do is to come here where it says rotation degrees and set it up to 90. All right, this way is gonna be much easier for you to rotate stuff, because it's gonna be rotating 9 degrees each time you hit it. Now let's talk about the R key. Alright, so the R key is very useful for two things. You could use it in order to shuffle a deck, just like this one. If I hit R, I'm gonna be shuffling this deck, even though we have other ways to do that, okay? And if you're talking about a die as an example, then by simply keeping my pointer over it and hitting the R key, I'm gonna be able to roll it. Alright, so R goes for rolling or even shuffling a deck. All right, now another very useful key for you to use is the M. Right, so the M key stands for magnifier, and then it's gonna enable the magnifier and allow you to see with more detail, yeah, to apply a focus zoom on anything you have your pointer on top of. All right, so if I want to check it out with more detail what is written on something, but I don't want to zoom in, I can simply use the M key, and then even with the M keys pressed, I can scroll. I can use the scroll of the mouse to zoom in or even zoom out. Then it's gonna be up to you to find a perfect zoom that suits you. All right. However, if you don't want to simply magnify something, but if you want to make something pop up on your screen, then you're gonna be using the Alt key. So by holding Alt key, anything that your pointer is on top of is gonna be popping on your screen, right? Just like that. Okay, and then you're also gonna be able to zoom in and zoom out using the mouse scroll. So that's very helpful when you want to check it out something very big without having trouble reading or understanding what you're looking at. Alright, so definitely super useful as well. Now let's talk about a feature that perhaps is only gonna be enabled for you if you have the proper permission, alright, which is the L key. So by hitting the L key, you're gonna be able to lock something and then unlock it, alright. So the L key is very useful if you don't want other players to move something or move a piece, then you're gonna be able to lock it or even unlock it, alright. It could be useful, but usually you're not gonna have this permission. Another very useful key for us to learn how to use is the G one. So as you know, you could hit R in order to shuffle this deck, and then I could just spread the cards around, yeah, and then it could get very messy as we can see right now. However, if I select them all and hit the G key, I'm gonna be grouping them all back together, right? So the G stands for grouping anything that can be grouped. Now let's talk about another key which is actually very useful, which is the U key. So here we have two unlocked objects, right? And then if I want to send this one underneath the other one, if I have to do it manually, I'm gonna have to go ahead and do like this, yeah, like changing the position of them, or vice versa. However, if I use the U key, it's gonna be much easier for me to send it underneath, right? So just simply keeping my pointer over it and hitting the U key, I'm gonna be sending the object underneath the other one, if it is on top of something, of course, alright? So now let's go back, let's remove this. Let's say that you're trying to find the perfect zoom to hover around the table, right? And then you found it, but you need to zoom in order to do some action on your pad. And then you are concerned that you're gonna miss the zoom scale you had before. In this case, we have another way to do that without having to zoom in and then zoom back out, okay? The best way to do that is gonna be using the Z key, alright? So the Z key is gonna zoom in and zoom out, okay? And then when we do that, it's gonna apply a specific amount of zoom in and then go back to where you were before. So this is very handy if you don't want to be zooming in and zooming out all the time using the mouse scroll button, alright? So by simply hitting Z, you have more zoom, and then we hit Z again to zoom out and go back from where we were. Now let's talk about the N key, alright? So the N key stands by nudge, and then it's gonna turn your pointer, your grab tool, into a kind of hand that's gonna allow you to mess with stuff, right? To drag and to push stuff around, right? I don't think it is quite useful, at least not playing any games of this game series. However, I think it's good for you to know that it is a thing. Now let's talk about the communication within the tabletop simulator. If I use the C key, if I hold it, I'm gonna be enabling the video chat, yeah? Where I'm gonna be chatting through the tabletop simulator with everybody else within the game. However, if I only want to talk with people from my team, I can use the V key instead in order to activate the voice team chat, right? See up there, we have the voice icon, however we have a small red T on it. That stands for team. Yeah, remember that if you come here to your name, you can change your color and also change your team. So if you have more people in your team, then you could talk directly to them by hitting the V key instead of talking to everyone using the C key, alright? And let's say you're having a very good time here and you want to take a screenshot, yeah? And you don't want all those menus ruining your shot, you can go ahead and hit the F11, right? By hitting the F11, we're gonna remove all the menus from the screen and keep it clean for you to take any kind of screenshot or even recording the footage, alright? Now let's talk about more stuff that you're only gonna be able to do if you have the proper permission, alright? Which is the plus and minus keys that will allow you to enlarge or decrease an object, alright? So it's gonna be able to make it bigger if I hold down the plus key, or to make it smaller if I hold down the minus key, alright? So that might be helpful if you want to make something bigger and easier to be seen. However, it's not all the time you're going to have the permission to do so. And last but definitely not least, we also have the Ctrl X, C and V commands. Yeah, just like anything else, if we use Ctrl C, we're going to be copying an object, and then we can use Ctrl V in order to create other copies of it. However, if I use Ctrl X, I'm going to be cutting it, and then I go with Ctrl V to paste it. Alright? So, pretty standard commands, but however, not all the time that's going to be enabled for you. Alright? And that's in my case here when playing this mod is particularly helpful when you just caught a Pokemon, a wild one, and then you make a copy of it. This way you can keep the one you caught on your pad, and then you send the copy of it back into the bag. This way the other players can have the chance to try to catch it as well. Alright? Okay then, so that was it. Okay, so that was the basic commands using your keyboard. So remember, that was the part 1 of 2. And then the next part I'm gonna be teaching you how to use your mouse in order to do pretty much all the things we learned how to do in this video. Alright? Until then, don't forget to come here to the pokemonmastertrainer.com in order to check out the rules in a more visual interactive way. And here you also could click on the download button in order to request access to all the printable files from my Google Drive. There you're going to be finding all the public content read so far in a zip file that could be downloaded in order for you to print it out and assemble your own physical version of this game, just like a huge DIY. However, don't forget that in order to have access to the files, you must be a subscriber to this channel, and also to leave a comment down below telling me you request the access. If you have any doubts, just check it out the pinned comments down below. And of course, if you want to play any of the exclusive mods and have even more fun playing online with your friends, playing mods that are much quicker and yet very fun and much more casual than this one, the traditional one where you have to play a RPG campaign. So go ahead and check it out on my Patreon's page. This way you can back me up there, and with only 10 bucks, you're gonna be able to have the exclusive access and then play all those mods that so far include the Pokemongo Kanto, the Pokemonunite, and the just released Pokemon Stadium. Alright? So please make sure to go ahead and check it out on my Patreon's page. Of course, there any product, service, or course purchased through the links down below is going to support this channel a lot and help me out to keep bringing more content just like this one. Alright? I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to use the keyboard in order to help your gameplay here within the Tabletop Simulator, and I see you again in the next one.